on a 20-foot high concrete wall between me and impending death and doom off the edge of that cliff. Oh my God. I don't even know what I could say about that, except my son said about the second switchback we went up going to the Muir Woods. He said, Dad, you would have never made it. And he's right. I wouldn't have. I probably would have found the first place to turn around and be like, that's it. We've seen as much of those woods as we're going to see, son. And he would be like, but Dad, all we saw was that valley. I know. And wasn't it pretty? It was beautiful. Let's get down to Sausalito.
Amtrak. Well and truly, got my first drink in hand. About to go do the mustard drill, just to like to get it out of the way. I got on really early. And as you
Hi, I'm Jason Sterling, and this is the Amtrak Land Cruise 2022, Denver to San Francisco. And today we are in San Francisco. Let's start with a spoiler alert. It was great. San Francisco was a fantastic city. Okay, so we got there. We got into Emeryville. We went by bus over to San Francisco. We got into San Francisco. We got to our hotel. San Francisco was great. Did I mention it was great just about, 30 seconds ago? Well, that's because it was great. It was a really, really excellent city. We had a really, really excellent hotel. The hotel was beautiful. I ended up switching from our original hotel into downtown San Francisco. We were about 2 blocks off of Union Square. At the Warwick Hotel, we had a fantastic room. It was a suite, beautiful decor, spacious, and an excellent, excellent price. I can't speak for always and everywhere, but our particular price on this particular room in this particular city, less than $200 a night in San Francisco. Like I said, 2 blocks off of Union Square. Great location, easy to get everywhere. You can see from the pictures here, it was a really, really nice hotel. I was suitably impressed. I didn't actually do a video review of this room where I walked around. I kept thinking I was going to, and I was just too tired. All the time, I was too tired. We really spent a lot of time walking, seeing the city in this particular town. Whew, I was worn out. As you can see, it was a spacious room. It is a suite. There was a separate living area with its own television set. There was a refrigerator in that living area and a small desk. But there was also a bathroom in that living area. This particular room, this suite, had 2 bathrooms in it, full baths. So you could bathe in each room if you wanted to. We didn't end up using that small bathroom very much. I think I went to the bathroom there once, something like that. But if you're a family, if you're traveling, you're going to have the kids out in the living room and you're going to be in the bedroom, it really helps you get together faster in the mornings to have that set up. There was another television in the bedroom. Also in the bedroom, you had a dresser and a wardrobe, which had an iron and an ironing board like normal, and then the other full bath. It was a pretty luxurious decor, I would say, pretty nice. It had been probably remodeled not too long ago because everything wasn't all tore up, right? Hotels get kind of tore up and beat up pretty quick, and this was not like that. Now, our view from this room, granted, but remember, okay, this is less than $200 a night. Our view was maybe what we're going to call a city view. We're going to call that a city view. It definitely had the feel of an urban core. Right down below was the alleyway for that block. It didn't bother me. We weren't there that much, and when we were, it was super comfortable, and I really enjoyed it. The hotel also had a bar in the lobby and a restaurant off the lobby. I didn't use either one this time. Again, I was pretty tired by the time we got back early. Didn't feel like going downstairs and having a drink, per se. But they looked really nice setup, very elegant. I can't speak on it beyond that. I think it was probably pretty nice. It was a nice hotel, and they both looked great. Now, where we did eat was about 2 doors down from our hotel, maybe 2 or 3 doors down from our hotel, right there on the same block. It was a fantastic Thai restaurant. Almost no wait. I mean, we walked in, we had to wait maybe 5 minutes to get a seat. Pretty crowded, though. People just kept coming and going. And like a lot of cities, there was a lot of to-go ordering at this restaurant where people just walked in, got their meal, and left. Oh, the food was so good. Now, we have Thai restaurants where I live, and they're actually pretty good. But this one was good and inventive. For instance, my meal consisted of a curry that was duck and lychee fruit. Oh boy, it was so good. I can still remember it right now. It was so good. It was so excellent. I haven't seen anything like that. It's one thing I like about going to different types of, we've got a lot of restaurants. We live in kind of a metro area. It's a small metro area, but we've got a lot of selection when it comes to restaurants. This, though, was something I'd never seen. This combination was something I'd never seen. It was so good. It was so excellent. Everything we had at that meal was really, really good. You can see we started with a sort of flaky pastry sort of appetizer. I cannot remember the name off the top of my head. I'm going to try to look up the menu for this place, though. Put the name of what we had here off to the side. It was excellent. It was stuffed with chicken and vegetables. Super, super good. A bit like a pasty sort of, not really like a samosa, a little bit like a samosa, a little bit. It was excellent. My son also had pho, I believe. You can see there's large mushrooms there bobbing in it. I cannot remember what he ordered. But again, I'll put the name of it off to the side. He said it was excellent. I did not try his. In the end, we didn't order dessert either. We were way too full. You can tell the portion sizes on this stuff. Huge portion sizes. It was really excellent. I highly recommend it. I'm going to put the name of this place again right to the side here because off the top of my head, I can't remember right at this moment, but it was really great. And great is going to be our hallmark word for this particular part of the trip. San Francisco was great. The next morning, we were going to go across the Golden Gate Bridge, the quintessential, iconic landmark of San Francisco. Could not wait to see it. I was so excited. Now, I will say this. I don't like to drive in strange cities or foreign cities or any other type of city except for my own city. Hell, I don't like to drive in my own city. Let me preface that. I don't like to drive in my own city. Also don't like to drive across bridges coming from the Midwest where we barely have a river. We don't even really have a river. We have a stream running through a large ditch and the bridge is about this high off of it. That's it. Right? I don't like bridges. I don't like to drive across them. It doesn't bother me so much riding across a bridge, but driving, I don't like it. So we grabbed a Gray Line tour to take us across the Golden Gate Bridge. I wanted to see the views. I wanted to see the bridge. This is going to be beautiful. It looks so fantastic in all the pictures. It's awesome. So I grabbed this Gray Line tour to take us across the bridge first thing in the morning so that we can get it out of the way and have the whole afternoon ahead of us. It's San Francisco. And even though I know San Francisco is foggy, as in foggy every single morning of the year and most of the day, I booked our tour across the bridge. First thing in the morning. Now, let me say, it was still beautiful. It was still beautiful. It was like driving through the clouds. It was like driving through the clouds. And later when we were looking back at the bridge, looking back at the city, it was like Cloud City, right? It was like, you know what? It was practice for our upcoming trip going to Star Wars at Disney World because we were in Cloud City. It was still beautiful, but we didn't see a whole lot of the bridge, at least not at that point. But it was beautiful and we had a great time getting over there. And the big part of that tour was not just the bridge. We were also going to the Muir Woods to see the redwoods, and we were going to go to Sausalito after that. Now, going to Muir Woods to see the redwoods. You heard me say, I don't like driving in strange cities, and I don't like driving across bridges, but even more than both of those, I don't like driving in death trap mountain ranges with about 3,000 switchbacks. No guardrails. And I don't even like a guardrail. I want a full-blown wall. I want a 20-foot high concrete wall between me and impending death and doom off the edge of that cliff. Oh, my God. I don't even know what I could say about that, except my son said about the second switchback we went up going to the Muir Woods. He said, Dad, you would have never made it. And he's right. I wouldn't have. I probably would have found the first place to turn around and be like, that's it. We've seen as much of those woods as we're going to see, son. And he would be like, but Dad, all we saw was that valley. I know. And wasn't it pretty? It was beautiful. Let's get down to Sausalito. I couldn't have made it. I could have. I've driven a lot of stuff like that. I just incredibly hate it. And I was so glad to have someone else driving. That's why I take Gray Line tours a lot. Not sponsored by them, but I do recommend them. Let someone else do that drive. Whew, now you don't have enough time there when you're on that sort of tour, kind of canned tour. And we didn't have enough time at the Muir Woods. We were there about 90 minutes, and we could have been there about 9 hours. It was so gorgeous. It was so gorgeous. And that was the thing. They got me there and it was gorgeous and I loved it. And that woods, the entire place was magical. The entire place gleamed like you were walking through Alice in Wonderland. It looked like it had been glazed with glaze. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It was beautiful. Everything shined. Okay, everything gleamed and shined as though it was brand new. It had just been made yesterday and placed on the earth. And when you're from the Midwest, let me say it again, I'm from the Midwest. When you're from the Midwest and you see a tree that is taller than 2 or 3 stories and it hasn't blown over in a thunderstorm, I was just amazed, okay? It was like looking at skyscrapers designed to look like trees. I was so blown over. It was so beautiful. I really could have stayed there all day. I could have taken a lunch and a dinner and just gone to different parts and just sat and breathed it in. You know, when they talk about breathing it in, that is a place you could literally breathe in the splendor of it because it was so enveloping and it just saturated you into your soul. I mean, I don't want to overplay this. I don't want to oversell this place, but I don't think you can. It really is and really was that beautiful. Now, let me just take a deep breath. Let me clear those memories out. They're really good. They're really great memories. It's still so fresh with me. I mean, it's been a month now, more than a month. It's still so fresh with me. I'm in love with that place. And I'm also in love with the views from Sausalito. Sausalito is where we went next. I love Sausalito. It was very charming. It's a little touristy. You can tell from this strip here, the typical tourist strip, a little shops, little art shops, and some restaurants and places to get some food. But the great thing about Sausalito is it's gorgeous. It is like a fairy tale village spilling down that hill into the water. It looks like Disney made it. It looks like, I'm not kidding, it looks like Disney made it. Like Disney said, this is our newest land. It's Sausalito. And it's a magical place where all your dreams can come true. It really was beautiful. We had a great time there. We grabbed some lunch, fish and chips. After all, we're at the seashore, right? Grabbed some fish and chips. And I love fish and chips. I love to drown it in about a bowl. Like it's fish cereal and the milk is malt vinegar. That's how I like my fish and chips, and the fries too. Just douse the fries too, right? We got that to go, went out and sat on the little park area, had a picnic, watching just a gorgeous view. There's such a beautiful view of the Oakland Bay Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge and San Francisco and Alcatraz Island and Angel Island, which is their point of immigration a long time ago, like the Ellis Island of the West, right? It was beautiful. We had a great time there. We went from there by ferry back to San Francisco. We could have taken the coach, or you could upgrade your ticket. Upgrade your ticket. Upgrade your ticket. Don't go back to San Francisco by coach. Upgrade your ticket to a ferry. It was such a gorgeous view from the water. We got to see Alcatraz, of course. Finally got to see a little bit of the Golden Gate. Still a little shrouded, right? Still a little mystical over there in the distance, like the bridge to Cloud City, you guys. That's one thing I'm going to say right off the bat right here, right now. When I say San Francisco is great, that's because it is magical, and it's a real magic. It is designed by nature, right? I mean, everything about it really is magical. And the ride back over was really a fantastic way to get a great sweeping view of all of that. It was like Amtrak, but longer, because the view when we first came in and saw San Francisco from Amtrak was like that. It took your breath away. This did too, but it was longer, lasted the whole way over, and it dropped us off at Fisherman's Wharf, which was another great thing about it. We got dropped off at Fisherman's Wharf, so we were going to take a look at that, which we did. It was there. If I said that Sausalito was touristy, it learned from Fisherman's Wharf. Fisherman's Wharf was the master. It was cool. I'm glad we saw it. We had to go. Of course we had to go. Everybody has to go. And we did go, and it was great. Well, I don't know if I'd say it was great. It was It was what it was. It was a place. I don't think we even really took many pictures, really, even over there. Some places to shop, some places to eat, few great views. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is a little bit of a spoiler alert because this is from the next video. The Embarcadero, better views. Go there instead. It's wonderful. But that's for tomorrow's video. What we did was we mostly walked from Fisherman's Wharf, most of our time there, just kind of strolling. And we strolled down to Ghirardelli. I can't pronounce it. I'm from the Midwest. Ghirardelli Square, the chocolate people. We love chocolate. We love ice cream. It had both in the same spot. Also some light shopping there, but even better, there was miniature golf. And we love miniature golf. My son and I have always loved miniature golf from the time he was real little. We'd go a lot of road tripping, and some KOAs would have miniature golf courses. Big highlight of our trip whenever it had a miniature golf course there at the KOA, at the campgrounds. Well, this place had miniature golf. It was indoors, had all the iconic symbols of San Francisco that you hit your ball through, right? And we had a great time of it. It was a lot of fun. And I mentioned this in the planning video for this series. Sometimes it's okay to break away from culture and museums and education and all that and just have fun. Yeah, we've got miniature golf in Oklahoma City. Of course we do. We also have movie theaters in Oklahoma City, and yet in Denver we did go and see a movie. Went and saw a movie while we were in Denver, and while we were in San Francisco, we played miniature golf, and we had a fantastic time. Before we left, we grabbed a few pieces of chocolate to take home with us, and we decided we would go back to our hotel. Now, let me preface this real quick. I decided. Let me change that. I decided that we would take a cable car back to our hotel, which was all the way across San Francisco, right? Because we're all the way over by Union Square. It was a long line there to wait for the cable car. And my son said, well, maybe we could just walk it. My son's hardly ever climbed a hill. Okay. And I'm like, son, do you see that hill in front of us? We're going to have to cross like 12 of those up and down to get back to our hotel. So no, we're going to wait for this cable car. Now, I will say this. Buy your cable car tickets on an app, online, on your phone, on an app. Download it. It's like the Muni app, MUNI for San Francisco. That's their municipal mass transit. It's not the BART system. It's like their buses, streetcars, and cable cars. You can buy your ticket on there, and we could have walked maybe a block or two. We could have walked the 2 blocks and not waited in that line and just hopped on the cable car 2 blocks up, right? Now, if you just absolutely have to take that thing, you're going to take it one time from endpoint to endpoint, then wait in the line, take the whole stretch, great. All I did really want was transportation back to Union Square, which is what we've got, but we waited in line about 30 minutes, and we could have walked probably 5 minutes. 5 minutes, 2 blocks up the road a little bit, hopped on it at its first stop. And then it would have been a lot easier, a lot quicker. That's a pro tip for you right there. That's what I learned. The other thing I learned is a one-trip ticket. Like if you just want to do it, you're just going to say, I was on a cable car in San Francisco. That's $8, okay, end to end. And that's what we paid that time, because I didn't know how much it costs to begin with. I didn't look it up, and I didn't really investigate that part of it for some reason. I just kind of thought, oh, well, we'll just hop on one someplace, right? I didn't know how it worked. This is how it works. It's $8 for one trip. You can buy an all-day pass for all the city buses, all the streetcars, and the cable cars. It's $13. Keep that in mind. That figures into our next video tomorrow in San Francisco, and tomorrow here online too. So tomorrow that'll figure into that. But we bought the $8 ticket. We went up and down the hills. It was super exciting. I love cable cars. I love them. They're like a ride at Disney World. I mentioned that again because it is. And, it was a lot cheaper than Disney World. It costs nearly as much as going to Disney World. It was like a Disney World ride. I highly recommend it. We got back to Union Square, 2 blocks to the hotel, 2 blocks to our next dinner. We had dinner. Now, I'll say, too, you saw the pictures of Ghirardelli Square. We had ice cream there and some milkshakes and stuff, too. But we had dinner at a really excellent Italian place. Again, just catty corner. Catty corner. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, caddy corner from the hotel was a great Italian restaurant. Very nice. It's probably one of the nicer kind of sit-down meals we actually had in this trip, and it was the most expensive meal in this trip. But it was, especially for pizza and salads and dessert, which is what we ordered. But it was good. It was really good. The pizza was pretty authentically Italian. We really enjoyed it. The atmosphere was great. It was really nice. The service was superb. Great service there. And we had a really interesting couple was sitting right next. So, like, the conversation was great, too. Really cool to meet these people, kind of hang out for a while, chit-chat about the city, chit-chat about their experiences. You may guess this from this video. I'm pretty outgoing. I'm kind of an extrovert. It does not bother me to talk to people or strangers. The weird thing is I can deal with introversion though too. During COVID, I did not have a problem staying at home all day long by myself. In fact, I kind of enjoyed that a little bit too, you guys. There's nothing wrong with being in my room, in my space, in my house, doing my thing for a while. But I also don't mind being around people. And they were super cool to talk to. So that from that part of it, it was really, really great. It really did make the meal even better. We had a standard margarita pizza, I think my son had Caesar salad, and I just had a regular salad, like a dinner salad. For dessert, I had to think about it for a minute. You can see from the picture here, I think it was just chocolate cake with ice cream, but oh my God, it was good. I might try to look that up on the menu because I can't remember why it was so good, but you can tell from that picture, like we tore through that thing before I even thought like, oh yeah, maybe I should take a picture. People might want to see what this looks like. It was delicious. It was now I love chocolate anything. Let me stop and say that. If I say it was delicious, it probably is because it was chocolatey, right? It probably had chocolate in it or Nutella. Nutella is the other thing. Nutella, just give me a spoon and the Nutella. I don't want anything else to put it on. I don't even know what. Nutella's not a spread. Nutella's like a thick pudding. Like a thick, shelf-stable, room temperature pudding is what Nutella is. You're not supposed to put it on things except a spoon, which you then shovel it in with. So that's the other thing I love. Maybe I'll do a video someday of me eating Nutella just so you can get the experience of that. Anyway, this was excellent. Really, really good dessert. I got this set. I think it was just a chocolate cake. It's a really thick, dense chocolate cake. A chocolate cake where it's more like a brownie because it's so dense. I love that sort of cake. I love that sort of chocolate cakes. Some of my favorite. We finished the night, of course, back at our hotel. Turned in, I wouldn't say early, but it stayed light so long. It felt like it was early. It really wasn't. We turned in, hung out in the room for a while. Didn't do much. I read my book a little bit, kind of planned some things out in my head for the next day, looked for where we were going to have breakfast the next day. See, this day for breakfast, I had just bought donuts the night before at Walgreens because we had to be at the tour bus really early. And I thought, I don't want to try to find some place for breakfast and eat breakfast and all that. I'm just going to get some donuts for the room. And I got some milk. Made some milk, donuts, coffee. That was it. We were good to go. But the next day, tomorrow's video, oh boy, it was like, I'm going to say this right now, probably about my favorite place I ate on this whole trip. I ate there twice. Okay, twice while we were in San Francisco, I ate there. That's how good it was. That's coming tomorrow. So I was kind of looking that up. I was looking around the hotel on a map. That's what I recommend in the booking video I made. Pull up a map, you guys. See what's around you. Just look around. Look at the reviews. If it's got great reviews, it's probably good. In this case, it was not just good. It was great. There's that word again. It was great. And that was coming up tomorrow. I found it that night, though. I think actually I found it before that. I shouldn't say I found it that night. I found out how close it was that night. I had looked up places to eat in San Francisco. That kind of was on my radar. And then I saw it there right by. I was like, oh, that's that place. Oh my God, it's right around the corner. Literally around the corner. Like we walked around the corner of the hotel and just up to the end of that block that the hotel's in. There it was, just that close. Every place we ate was super close and super good. So that's tomorrow. Because for this video and for this day in San Francisco, It's all over. We were asleep. Great night's sleep, ready for the next day. And I'm ready for you. If you would please hit like, subscribe, and notify for tomorrow's video for our second day in San Francisco. Well, our third day in San Francisco, our second full day in San Francisco. Coming tomorrow. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.